That's right, everyone. Yonan here. Today I'm bringing you my overview on the Evoke. This is an Apex knife, so let's jump in with some specs real quick. We got a 20 CV bead blasted clip point hollow grind knife. We've got a frame lock design with steel insert. We've got tie scales and all tie hardware. Ceramic ball bearings with a milled clip that's actually pretty functional, pretty springy. It is designed by one of my favorite knife designers, and that would be Ray Laconico. There you go. We've got 3 3/4 inches of usable fine edge, 4.5 inches of scale length, a tip to tail of 8 inches, and a weight of 3.7 ounces. Pretty light considering it's an all-tie knife, all metal knife, you know. Let's talk about the things I like in my first impression straight off. It's a good looking knife, and like all of Ray Laconico's designs, it's very clean, right? It's not cluttered. It doesn't have any weird design elements. Some people might call it a little boring. I don't think so. I think his knife designs all look really, really cool. It's very clean, functional, and elegant, well thought out. Everything you'd expect from one of Ray's knives. It's made by We. There are 2 deployment methods on the knife. First of all, you can use a set of thumb studs, bang, fires right open. Or you can front flip the knife. I'm not the greatest at that, but this one does front flip pretty easily, which I really like. So they both work equally well. There's plenty of scale length on this knife, and the ergos are solid because it basically fits my large glove size hand pretty well in hammer grip with some room to spare at the back. So not quite a full size knife, but pretty good size knife, to be honest with you. It's very slicey with the 20 CV steel and a hollow grind blade. So the knife is slightly thin. It's a little on the thin side, but it's easy to carry. It EDCs pretty well, and it's comfortable to hold. It is good in a pinch grip. I do like the thumb studs where they put them, because if you do a pinch grip for any kind of pull cutting like this, the thumb studs kind of add a little bit of extra stability there, and it does have some jimping, which I like up here on the very top of the spine. I'm a fan of bringing that out usually past that very first finger position for people with larger hands or longer fingers. But again, a small thing. This is a very well designed knife, honestly. It looks and feels great, functions good. The action is nice and crisp, the deployments are good, and it is slightly fidgety. It does drop shut pretty easily. So that's a plus for sure. And then the balance point on the knife is right here behind the front choil, right about there, maybe about an inch back. So the knife feels, pretty good in your hand. It doesn't feel too blade heavy, too handle heavy, or obviously too forward blade heavy. So again, balance point back here feels good because this is where your finger goes, so the knife feels good in several hand positions. Very confident cutter, very slicey little knife with 20 CV steel. Are there any issues or dislikes? Cost could be an issue for some people. The cost is not unfair or unreasonable, but it might be one of those type of things where if you're a budget person or an enthusiast, you might kind of feel like, man, that's a little bit more money than I want to spend. I will tell you what the cost is in just a few moments. But that's really going to be up to you and your budget on a knife. So let's show you a couple of knives. I'm going to show you a knife that's just slightly smaller, but surprisingly almost as big as this Evoke. And that is the CJRB Pyrite, which a lot of people love. A lot of people like this knife. You can see the blade is about, I would say, just about 1/4 inch longer when they're pivot to pivot. And there's a little bit more handle material because this is a little bit, obviously the blade is a little longer on this knife, so the handle's a little longer. But they both have flat backs to them. They both have some meaningful jimping up here. You can see that the pyrite, the pyrite is extended a little bit further up on the knife, if we go pivot to pivot like this, you can see that is one design element I do like about the pyrite, and you can see the difference in the length of the actual scales. That's pivot to pivot right there. So they're pretty close to the same size, but let me show you a knife that's slightly bigger than this. That would be the Three Rivers Manufacturing TRM Atom. So here they are, pivot to pivot here. It's the opposite way. This has about, not quite a 1/4 inch more blade length and a little bit more handle length in the back. It has that arched design to it though. The whole knife has kind of an arched design. So that gives you a pretty good idea size-wise. This is not quite into the full-size knife realm, but it's pretty close. And it feels pretty comfortable in several hand and cutting positions. Pretty cool little knife. So let me summarize what I like about this knife and give you my thoughts. This knife is about $220. You might find it a little cheaper. You might find some discount codes for it. It's stonewashed titanium with blue anodizing and blue hardware. It's got a titanium clip that actually works and has a pretty good stack height on it here to get under reasonably sized pants. Obviously, if you're one of those Carhartt or 511 or heavy denim guys, you're probably not going to think this clip has enough beef for you, but you probably would carry a different type of knife anyway. But the fit and finish on the knife looks good. There's no issues with blade centering. That looks good as well. Again, solid knife. But $220 is a fair amount of money to put out for a design like this. It is a clip point. It is a hollow grind. It has this nice little swage on the front that brings it down to a fairly nice point in the front, but there's still a good amount of spine here for people. See if we can get that to zoom in. There we go. And overall, it's a good knife. It's a solid looking little knife. It's well designed. It's well executed by Wee. The fit and finish is good. Ray once again gets 2 thumbs up for his design philosophy of putting together functional knives that look great. Is it for you? If you're comfortable with the price tag, meaning does this fit into your budget, and if it really speaks to you and you like this kind of fit and finish on a knife, then maybe it is. I would say yes. That's going to be your call. But as always, there you go. There's the Wee Evoke in titanium and 20 CV. I hope you enjoyed the video for today. Thanks for watching as always, folks. I'll see you next time. Stay sharp.